No, it's time to film, not eat. When you're her age, you do as you stinkin' well please, and nobody's big and ugly enough to stop you. We're watching a fairly typical building fire. Hose crews, police, and everybody else is on the scene, but as far as they can tell, there's nobody inside. It's just stuff getting burned up, and most stuff can be replaced. People can't. Our pals Murph and Bello are helping with traffic, crowd control, and the other peripheral stuff that goes with a situation like this.
What kind of pool is it? Oh, that's the beauty of it. You get to pick the spot where El Flasho makes his next appearance.
Come on! You don't even believe he exists!
Of course I don't, but you do. And so does every badge in homicide and narcotics and vice. We can make a lot of money here.
I'm gonna guess that Murph took the slot that says he won't. The thing about these office pools is, at least with the one or two I've joined in, you don't get to pick the details. You pick an empty slot on the board, and once everybody has chosen a slot, somebody goes through and randomly assigns values to the slots. So you don't know what you're betting on ahead of time. This one is different. They do get to pick the spot, so why not? It's just a couple of bucks, and trying to guess things like this is kind of fun. It's even more fun if you can get your money back with a hefty amount of interest. So go for it.
That's the third barn burn in 3 weeks. Whatever's going to hell down here is going up in smoke.
It's scandalous to let the old gal go this way. She's a real beauty in her time.
If you're wearing any kind of suit, at least one of your back pockets has a button on it. Use it! Of course, there may be some things about wearing a suit that I don't understand. I've never owned one and have no interest in starting now. Actually, I can't really say I've never owned one. My dad had a tuxedo, and when he died, I wound up with it. I wore it 4 times. 3 of those were college banquets that required you to wear a suit of some kind. And then I got married in it the first time. By the second time, it had disappeared, and I didn't mourn it. I do have to give a shout out to my pseudo cousin at MIB who spent hours altering the pants for me. I don't know that I ever thanked her sufficiently. Given all the work she put into it, I'm not sure I ever could. Thank you again, cuz. The best thing about not wearing suits, I've never had my pocket picked. And don't worry, that guy will become relevant later on.
My husband used to work up there. Back when they was moving hooch through the back room. That was a long time ago, though.
Excuse me.
What are you, some kind of ghoul?
Just doing my job, lady.
She works for INS. She was Kolchak's replacement after Tony finally fired him. She's not press. She's a private investigator named Megan Lockhart. And she's on a job, all right. The subject of her inquiry will be showing up any moment.
Oh, look! The kid's up there on the second floor.
So, Murph, how's that pool start?
Because put me down for right here, right now, and hand over the money. This is what Megan came to film.
Wow!
Come on, guys. I'll get you out of here.
Thanks, Flash. At least somebody around here knows how to rescue a kid.
Hey, if the firefighters could do that, you know they would have by now. Give them a break. Megan got what she came for. We listened to her muttering, and it's easy to suss out that her goal is to learn the Flash's real identity. She has a list of suspects, and she's been going around to events like this to see who shows up and who's not around when the Flash appears.
Well, that leaves one more possibility.
Central City Police.
Yeah, police lab, Barry Allen, please.
He's not in.
He isn't?
Any message?
No message.
How she got onto Barry is anybody's guess, but she's dangerously close to establishing him as the Flash. But watching her look at pictures isn't all that interesting. Let's check in on one of the local mob bosses.
Simonson, Joe Klein, voice of the city. Any comment on the state's allegations about your illegal gambling and racketeering?
The jury made my comment. Not guilty. I'm a legitimate businessman.
Oh, does that mean that you didn't order the murder of a state's witness?
You know, one of these days you're gonna lose your voice, Mr. Klein. And I don't mean by a sore throat.
As I write this, we just lost Richard Belzer last month. At this time, he was a very successful character actor. His unique look made him unforgettable in most any role he took. Thing is, just a few years after this, he'd land the role that put him on the map, that of Detective John Munch on Homicide: Life in the Streets. The character was so popular, he did crossovers in 5 other series. He was only the 3rd actor to do that, and to this day, Munch is still said to be the longest-running single character in TV history. He played Munch in one show or another from 1993 to 2016. Now, I have to say that somebody didn't include soap operas in that calculation, because Anthony Geary on General Hospital played Luke Spencer for twice that long, but I'm not going to quibble, and I'm not going to take anything away from Richard Belzer. And by the way, that guy just made a not-too-subtle death threat. You can arrest him for that right now.
Simonson would have had more trouble in traffic court.
Maybe next time the police department could bring me a case that'll stand up in court. Your guys couldn't even get their names straight under cross-examination.
My guys were into their 3rd straight double shift when they arrested Simonson.
So that means they can be excused for being sloppy? You're making his case for him, dude.
Simonson's running the riverfront like his own private kingdom. Numbers, vice, extortion.
Yeah, you're right. He's worse than his father ever was, and you can't seem to make anything stick.
Well, I'm gonna nail him. With or without the police.
That's Thomas Castillo, the city's crusading DA who's going to stamp out organized crime. At least that's what he's saying, mainly because it's an election year.
20. Too rich for me, man. Come under the craps table. Where were these people raised?
Bye night, guys.
Go ahead. Shoot the DA in your illegal casino. I'd like the movie rights to that one, Arthur.
You shouldn't be here, Castillo.
Wow, he's in Simonson's pocket. How very expected.
Arthur, it's an election year. I need to win a few.
Well, I'll get someone to take a fall, make you look good in the papers. I can't afford to lose you.
Yeah, well, we need to talk about that, too. I need a better deal. Our current arrangement is unacceptable.
Our arrangement is fine. Haven't I taken care of you since law school? Go home, Tommy boy. Having the DA around is bad for business.
I wonder what kind of leverage Castillo thinks he has on this guy that he can make a demand like that. Simonson kills people. Castillo is a people. He might do well to remember that. In fact, maybe he did. We saw how firmly he stood his ground.
Hey, Sabrina's got this girlfriend. She's young, she's hip, she's single, she's perfect for you.
Yeah, like the last perfect one. The one with the phobias.
So she was afraid of spiders. Big deal.
Yeah, along with hats, fish, suitcases, and anything with fur.
It's subtle, but you get the impression that Julio's trying to set Barry up to help him get over Iris. Barry isn't interested right now. He's up to his ears in the arson case. Inspectors found a piece of an incendiary trigger in the rubble. He's established that it's of Asian origin, which doesn't help much.
Mr. Grosso.
Yes?
Hi, I'm Barry Allen, and I wanted to ask you a few questions about the fire on the docks last night.
Yeah, and I'm here to find a birthday present for the woman of my dream.
A romantic. I remember when everybody in this town was like that.
Now, about the fires.
You know it's a miracle those kids weren't hurt. They don't have anywhere else to play but outside there. But we've got a contribution up to replant Riverside Park.
But how does a bunch of kids frolicking and having fun in a nice, safe park make any money for the gangsters? Let's have some priorities here.
You saw all 3 recent fires.
Saw them. I almost burned around them. But I was really worried about the old cannery.
The one on Angel Street.
Yes. You see, my second husband got me a deed for it. And I was hoping that the developers would buy me out so that I could send my grandchildren to school.
I'm not sure why she's worried about it burning. If it did, the developers would still want the land, and you know the plan would be to tear it down and build something else, so it seems to me the building itself isn't a big deal. But every time I watch this part, I get the feeling either I'm missing something or there's something they forgot to tell us.
Can you describe the blazes?
Well, at first it was a big burst, and then a lot of little fires would break out all at once. Isn't that suspicious?
That explains a lot.
That exchange gives me the same feeling. Julio won't take no for an answer about this girl.
First date, huh, bud?
First, double, blind.
Ooh. This one's on me.
Yeah, strike one, strike two, strike three, this was a bad idea. But he can't back out now. Megan is there too, dutifully taking pictures of Barry with her little spy camera.
Baby, why take pictures when you got the real thing, huh?
I'm flattered, but I'm expecting my date any minute.
Yo, dollface, bring me 2 of those Iwani iguana cocktails for me and my new best girlfriend here, huh?
Please, I have other plans, but I am sure that girl in red over there would love to have you buy her a drink.
But, sweetheart, you won the lottery tonight. Hey, babe, come on, relax, and let me bring you to the threshold of unearthly delight.
Guys, if I see you doing that, I'll give you a knee in the whatchamacallits. Barry's a lab rat, it's true, but he's also a cop. He'll investigate.
He slipped crossing the threshold.
You, do this professionally? Listen, if you want to press charges, I'm a police officer.
And here I heard they were never around when you needed one. Excuse me.
Hey, wait a minute.
He needs your phone number in case this requires some personal follow-up.
Excuse me.
Hey, wait a minute.
What do you mean, wait a minute, Barry? We're not walking backwards here.
Hi, Barry. Your
Hi.
mom picked that suit out for you? This is my best friend from high school, Judith. This is the guy I told you about.
Hi.
You've had a near-death experience. I can tell by your aura.
Or she can read the newspaper, or Julio told her about Barry's accident. Whatever the case, he should thank Julio properly for this.
Julio, you're a dead man.
That'll do.
What the hell are you doing here?
Who'd have thought you could get that acrobatic in a motel room?
Feet off the desk, Mr. DA, and those are confidential.
What about the job, Ms. Lockhart? You've been tracking suspects for 3 months.
He hired her to find out who the Flash is. His stated goal, be able to contact the guy when he's needed. A bat phone, so to speak.
Or won't this salvage your re-election campaign with your opponent slaughtering you in the polls?
I don't plan on being district attorney forever.
If you're that far down in the polls, it sounds like a lot of people agree that you shouldn't.
To one front runner, but no names yet. I still need hard evidence. I'll have the man behind the mask by Friday.
Fine. Friday.
If he thinks he's got her intimidated because he's a big shot DA and she's just a woman, he should have been at that restaurant. We can assume he has some sensitive equipment in that spot too, and we already know she's willing to make his least favorite use of it. Meanwhile, Barry and Julio have gotten a little more info about that fuse, but it's still not helping them track down the arsonist. Barry asks, who's benefiting from these fires? My question? Why weren't you asking that in the first place?
Meet her and greet her, ladies and gents, the royal queen from the kingdom of chance. $20 buys you an invitation to the coronation. Find where the little lady is hiding, double your money. Go ahead, mister, pick a card. Ah, I think he's got it. Oh, too bad. Maybe next time. Try your luck again. Here we go, once more. Okay, pick a card.
Hey, what's he doing?
I don't think you quite got it, Pally. It's one card at a time. Hey. Hey, what are you doing?
Anybody who gets roped into a 3-card Monte game has more money than sense. The first time you see Dick Miller's face, you realize you'll never forget it. In his younger years, he was a boxer in the Navy, and then Roger Corman spotted him and put him to work in who knows how many movies. He usually didn't get big roles, and most often his characters were the kind you love to hate, but it was steady work. The thing I noticed looking through photos from those movies, he looked fairly generic, for lack of a better word. He didn't develop that characteristic narrow, long face and all the rest until he started putting on a few years. It was what he needed to make him memorable, and he ran with it. He was a successful character actor for the rest of his life. Right now, his name is Foz Knight, and Barry is introducing himself. He says, "You did well for my father and brother, and now I need your help. Any information you can come up with about these fires, please call me." Foz Knight had great respect for Jay, so he'll see what he can do.
Tell me one thing, though. How'd you pull that little gag before? I'd already palmed the queen in the first place.
TV magic cards when I was a kid. Call me with anything.
You've heard the expression, "the hand is quicker than the eye"? You have no idea. Meanwhile, Megan is feeling the pressure, if only because she wants to get paid. She just noticed something in one of her videos.
Starlab. Starlab's van again. What do they have to do with the Flash?
Looks like we found the downside to Tina following him everywhere he goes. She needs to get sneaky.
Sherry, can you come in here, please? Okay, Sherry, there's a couple of things. If Dr. Carter Hall calls, can you tell him I'm going to be in the gene splicing lab?
Oh, gee, I just have to find something to write on.
Sherry?
Sherry had like a female thing. I'm the Nuke City College intern.
She says her name is Heather, and within 2 minutes, Tina's pretty sure she can do this better without her help. She says, "Hold my calls and don't touch anything. I'll be back."
Following the Flash around, eh, McGee? Hyperkinetic field studies. Still waters do run deep, Dr. McGee.
Just poking around in Starlab's files could get her 10 years, but she doesn't care.
Mr. Spanier, again, a pleasure, wonderful work, just wonderful.
I take no pleasure from my calling, sir. Can a man take fire in his bosom and clothes not be burned?
Our firebug is a quasi-religious nut. Hollywood did that a lot during the 90s. Jerry Falwell, James Dobson, and a few others had started to push their own narrow brand of morality onto the country, and the backlash was severe. Even people like me who, at the time, more or less agreed with a lot of their stuff, didn't like what they were doing. The statement, "you can't legislate morality," had been around since at least the mid-60s, but these guys seemed to think it didn't apply to them. As a result, the country in general was given a picture that made all of us look like the worst examples. It was infuriating for a time because there was nothing we could do. By way of illustration, let me give one example. I was the stay-home parent in our family. Our second child was bipolar and out of control, and my wife couldn't deal with it. Somehow I could. So we set up a reverse household in rural Wyoming in a town where everybody knew everybody else. If you think that was easy, think again. But it got worse. We used to get Focus on the Family's monthly magazine, and one month they featured non-traditional types of families, including one like ours. I wrote them a letter thanking them for showing that homes like ours are just as legitimate as any other. One of their vice presidents actually wrote me back and said, "No, you're not legitimate. We showed those things to demonstrate how far the country has gotten from the so-called biblical model, and as far as he was concerned, we were living in sin." I wish I was making that up. But that letter told me why things like this were happening. The religious right was just starting to rear its ugly head, and Hollywood wanted to show the world what they really are. Hence, we get characters like Mr. Spanier here. I think he read that verse that says our God is a consuming fire and forgot to read the rest.
Got big plans for the riverfront. Hotels, casinos, all legitimate. You see, I can't buy property the city has put aside for historical restoration. But if it burns, there's nothing to restore.
Then he buys the land for peanuts through one of his countless shell companies, and he's off and running.
Your next job is the customs house off Bleecker.
I assume that's the place the city wants to restore. Mr. Spanier is a professional arsonist on a mission from the voices in his head. Megan Lockhart is just your basic burglar.
What a way to earn a living.
There are other ways, you know. You don't have to stick spy cameras in other people's homes.
Hey, Big Earl. Look what I got. Excuse me.
Just checking the cable. We've been having some problems with line outage. Your landlady let me in.
But now she has a problem. Barry recognizes her from the club.
Iguanas, right? What, you're a cable repair person?
Putting myself through school. Neurosurgery.
Neurosurgery, eh? Hey, as they say, go big or go home.
Well, listen, you hungry? I know a great Odessan restaurant right around the
I have to take
block.
a rain check. Work.
Yeah, I see. Hey. Oh, Earl! Whoa, hey, big guy. Well, Earl likes you, so it's settled. You know, how about this weekend?
I'm kind of involved. Triplets.
Triplets? That's involved.
And you should answer that. My van is double parked.
At least Barry's being polite and not forcing himself into her space. Then again, he's seen what happens when someone does.
Hello? Whoa. Fosnight, slow down. What, Spanier?
Yeah, Spanier. Noble John Spanier. I just spotted him tonight. Last time I saw this guy was 15 years ago, right after the Polo Club fire.
The one that killed Simonson's father, right?
Simonson is employing the guy who killed his father. It's good to know he has his priorities in order.
Anyway, Spanier's a real case. Guy's got 1 foot in the church, 1 foot in hell.
Where'd you last see him?
Down by the old custom house over on the Pier 23.
I have a feeling Spanier isn't going to fulfill his mission tonight. That was a fairly routine thing for the Flash, but there's nothing routine about what Megan just saw.
Mr. D.A., get out your checkbook.
It hasn't occurred to her to ask the real reason why Castillo wants the Flash's identity. She knows he's as crooked as a mountain road in Idaho, but she doesn't care as long as the check clears.
Well, how should I know who it is, Earl?
Hey, who's the watchdog around here?
We have to talk.
District Attorney Castillo, it's 3 a.m.
So let's cut to the chase. I know you're the Flash.
Barry tries to deny it, but Castillo proves it by pulling the pin on a live grenade and tossing it at Earl. If it doesn't go kaboom, Barry's the Flash. If it goes kaboom, neither of them will ever know it. It doesn't go kaboom. Barry can't afford to remodel the apartment. What he should have done was slip the pin back in when Castillo didn't know it, then stuff the grenade down Castillo's pants. He didn't have time to think of that. So what does Castillo want?
I'll give you 24 hours to get smart. Either you work for me, or that reporter Joe Klein gets the videotape of you flashing out of here earlier tonight. You know where to find me.
And now we know Castillo isn't the really smart one because mentioning a videotape was a mistake. Barry tears the place apart until he finds the camera.
But you know, the thing is, part of what he said is true. I mean, sanction from downtown couldn't hurt.
Yeah, but not from a crusading DA who throws a grenade at Earl.
No, of course not. The man's crooked. On the other hand, I can't go public, endanger the people I love. Mom, Dad, Eve, Sean, you. Think of the heat it could create for you.
There's not much he can do about this unless he can get his hands on the tape, and he doesn't even know who made it yet.
I'll play your little game for now, Castillo. But I promise you, you threaten me or my family again, and there'll be hell to pay.
I want you to hit Simonson's casino at the wharf. Throw a monkey wrench into the works. His free ride at the riverfront is over.
He'll do what Castillo wants because he wants to bring down Simonson as much as anybody else does. But he'll do it his own way. That card Castillo gave him is the entrance pass to the casino.
Babe, one $100 chip, please. That's all I need. Thanks.
She thinks he's crazy at first. Double Zero pays 35 to 1, so he just won $3,500 on a single roll. By the time he gets to the crap table, that woman is practically hanging off him, and he keeps on winning.
Two different dealers. He's still $250,000 ahead. You know this guy.
He figures the man has to be cheating, but I doubt he'll ever figure out how.
I feel particularly lucky.
I'm gonna stay.
Hit me.
Let's hope both of us are honest men, sir. I'm a very bad sport when it comes to sharks and cheats.
$23, bust.
Now, why don't we call it a night and quit while we're ahead?
He's right, 200 grand is enough for one night, especially since the place is running short of cash. This probably isn't what Castillo had in mind, but it's what he got.
If I ever see you in this room again, you'll regret it.
And if I don't see you in my room, we're both gonna regret it.
You can't afford me.
You can hear her wheels turning, can't you? Wait, that's not how this is supposed to go. But when he sat down at the table, she accused him of being an out-of-work gigolo. He just took that and ran with it. Incidentally, her name is Brenda Swanson. She's listed in the credits as Slinky Dame. I think whoever decided that never got their head out of the 1920s. Now, Simonson said he didn't ever want to see Barry in this room again. And he won't. In fact, nobody will see him.
What the hell is happening here? Shut the place down, damn it!
It's too late. Those people will walk out of here with all his lovely cash, just like Barry did.
Damn it, Castillo. Enough with the showing up already. You're gonna get us both indicted.
I'm not hired help anymore. We are partners as of right now.
You flipped out of your head.
How much you lose tonight? 150, 200 grand? I could arrange for you to lose like that every night. How long you think it'll take the Flash to break you?
How long do you think it's going to take Simonson to put out a hit on you?
Flash? That punk in shades? Of course not. The Flash is so quick, you never saw him.
Oh, yeah. I'm supposed to buy that.
Who else could beat your rigged game? Who else could have defused the bomb at the customs house? But don't worry. He won't be visiting your real estate fire sales anymore.
Now, we're sure he's a dead man. If there's one thing I know about mob bosses, it's this: you don't do the pat on the cheek thing to them.
Boy, I hate these cheap divorce jobs.
Where do you get off? Breaking and entering, hiding a camera in my home.
Just doing my job.
Unless your name is Bernie Rodenbar, breaking and entering isn't part of anybody's job. It's a crime. He's a cop. You realize he can press charges.
No, you're too busy to worry about the consequences of your actions. Too hungry for the paycheck.
What is so noble about running around in a Halloween costume? You should see a psychiatrist.
I can sleep at night. How about you? Or doesn't working for a man like Castillo bother you?
What does that mean?
He's out for all the power he can grab. And thanks to you, he's got me up against a wall.
He's my client. He pays his bills. So what?
Remember Carl last episode? He didn't think scientists needed to consider the implications and consequences of their actions. Barry seems to be a magnet for people like that.
So what? So he's threatening my family and my friends unless I do his dirty work. Get it?
It's Mrs. Keefe. She's got a gun. Oh, God, she would have killed her husband.
Let's have another talk about consequences, shall we? She just had a major come-to-Jesus moment. Or maybe a conversation isn't necessary. That says it all. It's not an exaggeration to say her whole life just imploded.
Can I help you?
No, thank you. I'm here to see...
Julio, go downstairs and check on that test results, will you?
Sure thing.
Hey. I loved what you did to Simonson. I loved it. So where's the cash?
Made a very sizable donation to the Riverside Park Fund.
I didn't tell you to
Didn't say anything about the money. Anyway, I'm finished with you.
Castillo is realizing he made a mistake when he A, didn't tell Barry how to disrupt the casino, and B, didn't tell him what to do with any money he walked out of the place with. He's making an even bigger mistake messing with the Flash, especially since he's making threats again. Barry warned him about doing that.
What now?
I want the list of my opponent's campaign contributors and any other dirt you can dig up on Paul Van Duzer.
Van Duzer's the cleanest politician this town has seen in years.
Nobody's completely honest, Barry.
That night, the Flash breaks into Van Duzen's campaign headquarters. But he won't be looking for dirt. He won't cross that line no matter what kinds of threats Castillo makes. After he retired from the police, Barry made a good living hanging wallpaper. Elsewhere, Megan is doing some checking on her client.
Password. AS. Arthur Simonson? Running with a dangerous crowd, Castillo.
I think he knows it, but he's also pretty sure he's more dangerous.
Certain doors have to be closed. Take out Megan Lockhart.
At least he's more dangerous to her. It may be time to terminate this employment arrangement.
And since information is valuable only if it's exclusive, get rid of Christina McGee.
She's realizing that Barry and Tina are real human beings and she's put them and herself in danger. It's too bad she can't go back to a checkpoint and try again.
Dr. McGee.
Why aren't you two in radiation suits? Weren't you told about the leak?
Excuse me, what are you people doing in my lab?
Come on, McGee, they're trying to kill us.
Tina can't figure out why Heather the Temp is dragging her away from a pair of goons with guns. If a white rabbit shows up, that should explain everything.
I have nothing to say to you.
Barry, shut up and listen. Megan just saved my life. I checked on Castillo, and
I know he's in bed with Simonson. That's why the guy's never been convicted.
But Barry has sorted out what the scheme is.
There's a bill in the state senate to legalize gambling.
And that would put Simonson's illegal casinos out of business.
Right. So he hires Spaniard to torch the waterfront. Then he buys it dirt cheap, using a phony corporation to cover his tail. And when the gambling bill passes, lo and behold, Simonson has valuable property, perfect for a major casino strip.
Putting him back in business bigger than ever. And that's the gold ring Castillo's looking for?
Yeah.
Fosnight just called Barry. He saw Spanier headed for the waterfront. Catching him and making him give up Simonson would be a good way to stop all this.
Let me help.
Forget it.
I'm just spitballing here, but I think he may have some trust issues.
I beheld Satan as lightning falls from earth.
First of all, Jesus said that, and you ain't him. Second, you got it wrong. He said, I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. Third, nobody actually knows what Satan looks like, but I doubt he wears red tights. Behold that, dude. His little fire is easy to put out, and once again, Mr. Spanier is out of business and headed for a nice fireproof cell.
He's the one, officer. He's been torching the waterfront, but he didn't get my counter in, no sir.
Gosh, man, but how did you manage this?
The Flash did it. I seen it with my own eyes.
Angel of Satan, red as the devil!
Nuts. Who had Pier 23 in the office pool, Bellows? Get out of here. No more calls. We have a winner.
May as well start setting up the next one so Bello can win that, too. Murph has no idea how much he's missing by not believing in the Flash.
The hell with patience. You had Senator Clark on your payroll for years. Senator can't move on the gambling bill until after the next election.
Then I say we push him right now. He don't play, we roll right over him.
Just slow down. I've spent too many years on this to see you blow it. You want it all, but you can barely handle what you got.
That's right.
What I've got.
Now all she needs is somebody honest to give it to. My mistake. What she needs right now is help!
Was every job I did for you a crime?
You know this woman. She's got enough on this to lock us both away for life.
The awful truth is, I used you because nobody's gonna miss you one way or the other.
You pig!
God, get out of here! Kill her and dump her in the river!
Slime dog!
I'm a little surprised that worked. I figured Castillo was lacking certain things. I'd really like to know how those effects were done. I know we have a certain amount of film speed up, but looking at the way he vibrates, I think there's a lot more to it than that. And she helped anyway, so there. And she even helped twice. That's her act of defiance, so ha-ha for you. We saw Castillo slip out. Megan can tie up these guys while the Flash goes after him.
End of the line, Castillo. No way, Barry. You're a Boy Scout. You believe in that whole good guy, bad guy rap. I open my mouth, they'll be all over you. The mob doesn't get you, you'll end up dissected by the feds. The only way to stop me is to kill me, and you won't.
Barry won't kill him, but Simonson will. Doesn't matter that it's too late to do anything but protect Barry's secret, which Simonson doesn't know anyway. His identity is safe from a crooked DA exposing him, but there's still the matter of the sleazy PI who tipped off the DA.
You know, I still resent you for poking around in my personal life.
Yeah, and if I hadn't, you never would have nailed Simonson and Castillo, not to mention Spaniard.
Yeah, but how can I be sure you're not gonna blow my cover the minute you leave town?
You did save my life. It's a heavy marker, wouldn't you say?
And she saved Tina's life, so it pretty well balances out. Not that heavy of a marker when you factor that in.
I need to be sure.
You might just trust me a little after all that's gone on.
Trust is a lot to ask after what she did, but she's willing to earn it.
Look, this is really hard for me to say, but you taught me a real lesson when you zoomed into that hot sheet hotel. I can't go traipsing through other people's lives until I figure out what I should be doing with my own.
I am happy to report that the sleazy PI no longer exists. And again, she's willing to prove it and earn his trust.
Here's every frame I ever shot of you. I fudged the computer records to blur any connection between you and the Flash.
How's that for a way to prove she means it? And if she tried to tell anybody, they wouldn't believe her. He's safe for another day.
But you still gotta watch out for that cute little red behind of yours.
I think I was just about to ask you out.
It wasn't dinner and a movie. But I'd call an evening's action at a local hot spot one hell of a first date.
She kisses on the first date. According to the Shaboopy, that means she's usually a hussy. I don't think Barry minds.
That's all for now. I'm not that kind of girl.
Why, it's never too late to start. Ow.
Hey friends, I hope you're enjoying my look at The Flash. If you like it, remember to subscribe if you haven't already. If you really like it, consider becoming a patron. $2 a month gets you extra content like Hogan's Heroes and It's About Time. $5 a month gets you that and more, so take a look. The link is down there in the description. I also do lots of other stuff, so take a moment to look it over. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Ow! Don't bite yourself, stupid! Boy, I've completely lost the rest of that. I've never had my pocket picked. I've never had my pocket picked. She was Kolchak's replacement. The subject of her inquiry, the man. Boy, trigger in the and Barry. Okay, man. I don't know what happened there. On traditional types of families, windows.